Hi everyone. Today's session is going to be on stars, two tables of 400 zoom, and the pool at the moment 25 entrants and a couple of recreationals, but a lot of strong regs. I expect it to be mainly four-handed, 4 and 5-handed, with this many entrants. So yeah, we'll get into it. Nothing really to note about my strategy or the setup of this video. It's the same format as always. And yeah, I've got the RNG off screen that I'll be using to balance my play, particularly against tough regs where I need to remain as unexploitable as possible. Table 1, I think I do a fair amount of checking on this board. My combo doesn't really have too much interest in betting. No spades, undercards to the king, pretty dreadful combo. I do block some king, jack, king, queen suited, obviously, but I think I can use this as a check bet line, just because that's how I'm going to play a decent amount of my mid-strength value hands, like some king X, maybe some traps, and also jacks and queens, which I kind of am blocking nicely. The button's going to have some amount of jacks and queens in their range. 3-bet table 2, high frequency, sometimes calling, but with regs in the blinds, I think I prefer just playing more of a 3-bet fold strategy, button against cutoff. And table 1, I think this is kind of the size I'm going to be using. I think I can go relatively thin here with kind of pocket nines with a spade plus. And table 2, I think I do some calling of ace-5 suited, but ace-4 suited is going to be mainly folded. And I think the call from pocket eights is obviously fine. Opponent played the hand fine. I think my river bet's good. As I said, I'm going to play nines, tens, jacks, queens with a spade this way. Even some traps like some nut flushes, some ace king off, king queen off with a spade, aces with a spade. And basically targeting hand like ace highs to fold, maybe some pocket pairs, no spade to fold. And as for sizing, I think I just have one size there for about 3/4 with range. I don't think blocking makes too much sense because I'm not really going for thin value, because I think like tens, jacks, queens with a spade are almost the nuts by this point on the river. And table 1, I'm going to roll the RNG for this one. I've rolled a check. I think this combo with the diamonds and the undercard to the jack makes sense to check because my hand can't improve and I don't have the backdoor clubs that I can, or hearts that I can continue on turns where I pick up some equity. And I think it's going to be mainly checking again. And table 2, rolled low, so I'm going to use a small c-bet size. I think I can use different sizes on this board. And table 1, I think this is going to be my only size in the river here, and I'm going to have, plenty of bluffs here, just stuff that's not going to be interested in betting up to this point. Going for the delayed bluff line, like 5, 6 of diamonds. And yeah, basically targeting pocket pairs, 8x and king highs to call. So that's worked out pretty well. So this is noteworthy that opponent defends 8-6 off. Now, against a min open, they're going to be defending very wide, and that's important to note. I do talk about this in most of my videos. It's important to note how your opening size is going to affect your opponent's range. When I open this in middle position, 4-5 suited, I am often calling 3-bets. It's not a pure open, and I've rolled high enough to be calling. So, yeah, it's just important to note when you're playing post flop, like how wide your opponent's range is, just because they can chart with more potential value or more potential bluffs if they've got a lot of offsuit combos as weak as 8-6 off. Opponent's calling the river. I don't think this is the best combo because it's kind of blocking the hands I'm going to play this way. They're going to bluff. The 8 of clubs, the 6 of clubs, sorry, is a good card though. And I think I like raising here on table 2, unblocking a lot of the continuing range like sets, big pairs with a spade. Bluffs here. I'm going to be bluffing here with kind of some small pocket pairs with a spade probably. Maybe some ace queen off with a spade. And I think I go half pot to set up river shove with range. Yeah, so the 6 of clubs is better than having the 6 of diamonds because the 6 of diamonds is going to be featured in my check bet line. Those hands I mentioned, like 6-5 of diamonds, 6-7 of diamonds, but 6 of clubs might be interested in c-betting the flop because it's got backdoor equity. Pretty grim. Obviously not folding flushes here, but I think I just got to hope I'm against a set. Opponent can have some straights here. Interesting. Yeah, pretty nice play with ace king, I think, because they get the extra value from my bluffs, like my, as I said, those hands I mentioned, like the pocket pairs. Good board for my range on table 1, so I think 10s is one that could check back, but I think I just like c-betting range for a small size. So yeah, they get an extra street of value from my bluffs, like those small pocket pairs with spade that I mentioned, and they can put some other hands in my range under serious pressure. Like if I have, I don't think I do have jack 9 suited pre-flop, but if I have jack 9 suited, even if I have a set, I can't be folding sets, but if I have, say, pocket 9s, pocket 2s, it's pretty grim. I think it's just overbet when I'm kind of blocking the bluffs, like 10-9 specifically, then I think it's a fold. There's not really any natural bluffs there in opponent's range. And table 2, this is just such a better board for the in-position player because they have all the sets and suited connectors and straights that I don't have, because I'm 3-betting more of a linear range that's heavily weighted towards broadways. And I'm not 3-betting 6s and 7s and suited connectors, or at least pure in these positions pre-flop. And with no ace king of hearts I would call, or ace king off of a club I would call, but I think this combo just folds. Yeah, I mean, basically whatever, it's never a bad shove with this hand because whatever they're up against, they've got outs. Even against flushes, they've got 7 outs. So I don't think many at lower stakes, I think many players are playing ace king off this way. They're probably either getting in on the flop or just check calling turn. But top regs are more capable of making these aggressive plays, particularly when they're playing against regs who are more likely to find bluffs in this spot. So, for example, in the eye poker shoes here, if they're playing against a nit, then this is going to be a losing play because their range is just so weighted towards value. Whereas against a reg, then they can find bluffs. So I can find bluffs here with, as I said, small pocket pairs like 4s through 7s or even 8s with a spade, whereas nits aren't finding those. When with this deep, I think I can develop a calling range here. 200 big blinds deep, ranges change. And table 1, I think with the 10, I like c-betting. So I can put pressure on 9x, 7x on certain runouts. I could even be bluffing here with a hand like 9-8 suited, ace-9 suited. I think I've got a continue with king-queen off. I think with my range, I'm mainly continuing by calling. And table 1, don't mind what I do here. I've rolled high, so I'm going to c-bet. And I'm going to start donking the turn, I think, with this combo. Table 1, I think check looks fine, and either check call or check raise I think is nice. When I don't get raised on the flop, I think my opponent is going to be fairly capped, and when I block the 4, I block them improving. And there's also just a ton of potential straight draws in opponent's range. There's just so much 7-8 off, 8-9 off, Jack-9 off, Queen-9 off, Queen-Jack off pre-flop. So there's just tons and tons of combos. On the river, I like check raise, I think. And the King-Queen off, I think, is just a perfect combo to be donking here, whereby obviously I have tons of equity, great blockers, and I can fold out ace highs. And in terms of value range here, it's obviously going to be flushes. Decided to go for the check raise of ace-4 because I think there's still all those hands that I mentioned that opponent's going to need to find bluffs with, like Jack-9 off, Queen-9 off, 7-8, 8-9 off. And I don't think I get called by like 6x and 10x on the river. So opponent's going to have a lot of bluffs, and their betting range table 2, I like check raise here. Table 1, I've got an easy check call. So the only disadvantage from checking here is I miss value from King X, but I think King X is frequently betting the turn on this board. They should be anyway when they've got potential loads of bluffs in their range. And when I don't improve on the turn, I think this is just going to be a give up now, but I like the check raise. I've got, plenty of backdoor, straight draw, flush draw cards. So I think the check raise with this is fine. Yeah, losing value from King X isn't great. So, Ace King would be a better check raise. Don't think I fold table 1 yet, but it's getting quite close. And I expect big bets on the river on table 1. I expect shove or shove or check. And against a shove, I'd be folding now this combo. I've just got better bluff catches, i.e. 2 pairs. And, 2 pairs would be my calling range here. I don't have too many straights because Jack 10 of diamonds and hearts is going to frequently 3-bet pre-flop. And Jack 10 without the flush draw is probably check folding. It's the overbet on the turn. So my calling range here is going to be 2 pair. And I don't need to be calling it. Or, my hero calling range is going to be ace 10, ace jack. So I don't think for the overbet size I need to be calling single pair ace there. RNGing table 1 and roll to fold. Something suited is going to be kind of some 3-betting, some calling. Again, we're 140 big blinds deep here, so I think I can call with 7s for the small open size. And standard call table 1. And with the 3 of diamonds, I think I'm calling table 1. And against pot size, no diamond, I think 7s is just a fold straight off the bat. Interesting turn on table 1. I think the block size of the diamond I call because there's just still some hands in opponent's range that I'm ahead of. There's like the offsuit Broadways, like 9-10 off of a diamond. And I have outs against ace X, no diamond. Or even mid-straight hands like pocket 8, no diamond. That on the turn can easily go for thin value against 7x, 5x. River now gets dicey when I face another bet because all those hands in opponent's range, I think, are either checking or there's just not many natural bluffs. They're going to have to have barreled the turn with complete air that they've now turned into a bluff. So I think I'm fine folding this. This looks slightly nitty, but to call here, I'm just basically hoping that my opponent is barreling the turn with air or a mid-strength hand that now turns itself into a bluff to get me off an ace-x. So a hand like those pocket eights, pocket nines, 7x, 5x that kind of block the turn to fold out king high, see where they are type of plays. And then they decide to bluff the river on the diamond to get me off, random ace-x or 7x no diamond. So I suspect the solver probably calls any diamond, but I just don't think my opponent's going to show up with enough bluffs.